Hello and welcome back. We are still short the euro dollar US dollar, and as you can see here, the market has moved against us, and we are down 164 pips currently. And we're watching the market move up towards, right here, towards our stop. Now, what most likely will happen in this case is that we'll see some continued activity to the upside, and then we'll see the stop get hit. Okay, so when we see the stop get hit, that's important information to know because every trade's not a winner. We stated that before. The key, of course, is to have the sum total of your winners be greater than the sum total of your losses. So we look back down here. This is where we are equity-wise. And this is important, too, because you have to evaluate how you feel about actually being in negative equity. So at 49.61, we're actually below the $5,000 mark that we started off with as far as profits is concerned. So that in and of itself is something that we need to digest, and it's important. Now, it may not sound that important right now as we're working on a demo account, but believe me, when it is real money, it will be important. So treat it as if it is. Now, the $163, $165 down that we are currently out of a $5,000 account is not cause for panic because we are properly trading using risk control. We have the right lot size right here in order to take a number of losses and still have enough in our account to continue to trade. That buffer is very, very important because no matter how many good opportunities come along, if you don't have the money in your account due to poor risk control or whatever, then you won't be able to take advantage of those opportunities. So we'll leave this, close that down, and what I'd like for you to do is go over to your profiles, and remember we had a euro dollar US dollar candlesticks intraday 1, so click on that and open that up. Okay, there we are. Now, what I'd like for you to do here is go to profiles again and save profile as. You can pop this up here, but we don't want that name. We actually want USD CHF. So we're interested in the dollar Swiss franc. And we'll save that profile, and then what we do is we go over here and we drag and drop. There we go. Drag and drop in this manner so that we have this one intraday as well, because what we want to do is look at a shorter term trade. So what we'll do is we'll take a look here and let's enlarge our charts. Daily. We're just kind of meandering back and forth there, so there's a breakout right here to the downside of that daily bar, so that would be an interesting trade. It'd be interesting to see what would happen down here to a breakout of that, but we're looking for something shorter term. The trend here is clearly down. Now we may bounce back up at this particular stage because of these prices here, which may form some level of support. And again, support being a place where prices do not seem to be able to penetrate on the downside, And resistance is a place where prices do not seem to be able to penetrate on the upside. Okay, that's 4 hours. Let's take a look. Top down trading. The 1 hour chart. Again, getting ready to bounce back down into this particular area. In 15-minute. Five-minute. I don't see any necessarily intriguing types of trades here. But we could always, again, take a simple trade that's some people will take a breakout of a 5-minute bar as well and trade that particular breakout, which is interesting. So there's an inside bar right there too. We could also trade that on either side of this particular bar and sort of bracket on both sides. But in this case, we're talking about intraday, so we again have to look at risk reward. So we can take a look at, if we were interested in this trade, I'm going to take the ATR, or average true range, move this down here to 1, because I'm keenly interested in where we stand here. And you can see this very small number of pips we're dealing with as far as that the ATR. Basically, when I set the ATR to 1, it's an average. It's just the one bar that we're looking at. Okay, so having that's kind of small. I'd rather move up actually to a 15-minute, and let's see what that looks like. I just want to see the range of the bars, especially if we're looking to buy the breakout of the high, sell the breakout of the low. And it's interesting here because it has broken through this particular price to the downside. And that's interesting, isn't it? Has broken through. So let's see what we look like here. Not very many, 10, 11 pips here and there. Now we could always take this short side trade right here. We actually take that trade at the market and place a buy stop right above this level here. That could prove to be relatively interesting. Let's go to an hourly. Okay, I'm going to reduce this again. Okay, here we go. Okay, okay, so 37. You can see the various sizes of the pips there. 37. Okay, all of trading on this in this range is all within our risk parameters for certain. We can trade that with no problem. Let's see the 4 hour. Okay. And in reality, the 4 hours are fine too. Again, the larger the time frame, the bigger the range is going to be. And you have to adjust your risk parameters accordingly, and also your reward parameters. If we're looking at 5 minutes, then we're seeing 10 pips here, 10 pips there. But as we're looking at larger time frames, we're looking at 20, 30, 50 pips, etc. Let's take a look at the daily. And I'm going to have to pop in here. Where are we? There we go. and grab an ATR. I want it to be a 1 period. Just want to see the range. This is a handy little way for us to gauge risk and reward. Okay, so we're seeing things back here in the range of 100, 150 pips. But this is a sideways daily. It's sideways. It's, of course, the main trend has been down, but it's not doing very much in here. Really, I'd like to see a breakout of one side or the other of this in order for it to show us that it wants to go in one direction or the other, so that we can have some real momentum. 4 hours. Let's see, 1701. Okay. No, not really. Not seeing anything particularly interesting in. We could trade this, the hour here, and we could trade a breakout, and we could trade a breakout again based upon some support down here, and have our either breakout on the upside or on the downside. That's one thing about the market, as you'll notice. It's going to go one direction or the other, or meander back and forth. You see every bar, some are definitive. Some bars are breaking out. You see that bar is testing that high. As we said before, testing that high. Things get tested. Now, here in this case, this is a kind of middle of the night inside bar trade. You see these all come down this way. That's the end of yesterday, actually. Looking real good. So I think in essence what we're going to do is we're going to leave this alone until we see something a little bit more definitive, and then come back and find something that makes more sense to us as far as the trade's concerned. So we'll reduce that. Okay. And that's that. Okay, so let's pop back to our other. We've got this profile there, so we're all set there. I'll go back to our trade that we're in, and it's up here dancing around at these levels, looking like it's going to go up a little further, and perhaps stop us out. So we'll have to see what's going to happen a little bit later. So for now, we're going to leave this alone. We'll come back and we'll seek out an additional opportunity in perhaps that US dollar Swiss franc a little bit later. Sometimes there's just nothing that seems clear cut, so you want to leave those things alone. So we're going to do just that. We're going to leave those things alone, and we'll come back later and trade some more. Thanks.